Okay, I believe that we are live again. um, it's my third time using this StreamYard thing, so let me know if you can hear me and see me. I think it should be okay. It's an awkward time of the day, I know, but hopefully I should see the chat here. Yes, yes. Okay, here it is. Uh, so this is a Heathen Hangout. I have done several of those here on this channel before, and let me see here. Okay, yeah, seems to work. Wonderful, wonderful. And we have sort of a rule, if you will, here and during the Heathen Hangouts. Everyone is welcome, but this is not the place to, for instance, write your Bible quotes and the Jesus stuff and all that. That's the wrong channel for that. You are welcome as a Christian, of course, but when it says Heathen Hangout, it sort of implies there in the title of the live stream that we will be talking from a heathen or pagan perspective. And I hope that that can be respected. So, first of all, Salman Rushdie will live. He is not up from the hospital bed, but he is conscious. And the last thing I read is that he is. It said that he was talking and telling jokes and stuff. So that's good. If you didn't know, he was attacked and stabbed several times on stage in the state of New York during he was going to hold a lecture on free speech and literature and those things. And if you don't know who Salman Rushdie is, why there is a fatwa on him, you should look that up because he is one of the most important authors out there today. So, okay, so I'm very glad to say that he is going to make it. It would have been, well, this is horrible, of course, but it would have been even more horrible if he had been killed. And they have arrested and charged the guy who attacked him. So, okay. Now, yes, I need glasses now. Now, there's a feature here. I can highlight some of the comments. Chickling Kluba says, "Did you know Iran praised the attacker?" Yes, and we're going to get into that a little bit. Now, I shouldn't have to say this, but when I say Islam, I am not saying Muslims. It's like some people have a very hard time with this, okay? In this live stream, I'm going to criticize Islam. That does not mean that I criticize every single person who calls himself or herself a Muslim. I know that there are several people who call themselves Muslims, and they are living. There is not much difference between their life and the life of other normal people here in Norway, where I live. And that's why, I'm not even going to try to define Muslim, what that is, because I know it means different things to different people. Okay. But I am going to talk about Islam, the religion, the ideology that we call Islam. And some people even like to say that, no, it's not really Islam. We have to call it Islam, um, Islamism, or they find another word. But it is Islam. That is what it is. And if you read in the Quran, which I have, you will see that these people that we call extreme, and they are, they can find justification for everything that they do in the Quran. If you doubt that, you should read the Quran. Okay. Now, someone says here, there are extremists in every religion. Yes, that is true. But in this live stream, we are going to talk about Islam, and we're going to do that with a heathen perspective. And I'll tell you a little bit about what that means. Okay. Matthias, good to see you. Good to see you. So, I believe that there are some key principles, or some of the pillars of a free democratic society cannot exist in an Islamic state. I'm not talking about the terror organization IS or ISIS, talking about a state ruled by the principles of Islam. Now, freedom of speech, that goes against one of the most important principles in Islam. Because in Islam, you are not allowed to say anything bad about Muhammad. Muhammad is, of course, the prophet in that religion. So when I say that this figure, Muhammad, some say he was never real, he never existed. Some say he did. I don't care. But he's not a prophet to me. Okay. And I see no reason to have any more respect for that figure that they call Muhammad than those people have for, let's say, I don't know, Odin. Just a suggestion, if they cannot respect that, and they don't, and we'll get into that, why would I respect their prophet there? Well, why would I do that? He's not a prophet to me. And I disagree with his teachings. So saying that makes me, in principle, a target, because people like me doesn't have the right to live according to these people. Not every Muslim, of course, not even a majority, but a large portion of Muslims, I must say, do believe that you should not be allowed to criticize, or no, they're not using that word. They're using that word and the other word. Maybe you can help me. They are saying that not criticize, but you're not allowed to. It will come to me. Okay. You're not allowed to say anything bad about Muhammad, right? Why would I respect that? Why? It's not a, no, not joke. Not hurt the feelings of uh, disrespect, maybe. Yeah, and you know what I'm trying to say here. So when Iran now praises the attack on Salman Rushdie, you know that something's wrong. It's like we can sit here all day long. We can sit here all day long and talk about uh, what Islam really is, what it means, and well, it's not that bad, and those are the extremists, and so on. But if you look at Islam in the world, it's hard not to see that a majority of countries where Islam is the state religion, a majority of those countries are extremist. For instance, you're not allowed to be gay. A lot of these countries, they have a death sentence, or at least jail, as punishment for gay people. You're not allowed to leave Islam. You're not allowed to criticize Muhammad. You're not allowed to um, go against the teachings of Islam in that country now. So, okay, let's see here. So, Mehdi here is saying that what I'm reading in chat as a Muslim and a long-time follower of Bjorn's channel and his mindset about pretty much everything is truly hurtful. I don't really understand what you mean by that. I am going to criticize Islam in this live stream because we need to. We absolutely need to. So, okay. So, yeah. Okay. I'm just looking at the chat here a little bit. So, okay. Yes. Now, from the heathen perspective of this might interest some of you who are not heathens as well, because there's a there is nothing worse to followers of Islam than someone who is a heathen or pagan, who has many gods. In fact, Rushdie was the one thing in his book Satanic Verses that provoked these people the most was a part of it where Muhammad is wondering about whether there are more than one God, and that is not allowed at all. So a pagan belief system will almost always have a multitude of gods, goddesses, and deities, and things and figures and symbols that we view as holy. And that's sort of how we navigate the world. And it's a way to, it is, to me, it's a language, actually. It's a language to use so that we can better connect with, understand, and talk about life, death, nature, and everything. That's not allowed in Islam, and it is the worst. Now, Jews are called the people of the book in Islam, and they are viewed as not as bad as pagans, you know. So, for me, to me as a heathen, it is. I realize that I am viewed as the worst of the worst, and I'm enemy number one. People like us, we are enemy number one. So I will have to take a look here at the chat. Let's see here. Are any other moderators here? There is one guy who says there is no God but Allah. We'll get rid of that guy or woman or whatever. So let's see here. Let's see. I'm sorry. I just have to go up here a little bit and get rid of the trolls. Sikimo says, I think you're approaching this issue with a little, you mean to say little information or lacking of information. No, I'm quite well informed on this topic, actually, more than you know. So Ahmad is gone as well. We have had a problem with the Bible thumpers here in the Heathen Hangouts, and it will be interesting to see if what should we call them, the Muhammad fanboys, Muhammad groupies are as bad or worse. My guess is that they will be worse. And by the way, to those of you who have been criticizing me, saying that, well, you can criticize me, of course, but I will respond. And sometimes you are saying like, oh, well, do you dare say that you're criticizing Christianity? Do you dare do that about Islam? Well, now you see, I do actually, when I feel like it, I will criticize Islam as well, of course. What did you think? So, just a little bit. Wolf of Odin says, ISIS sure showed what Islam is all about in its worst form. Yes. Okay, no, I'm not going to bore you with going up through the chat here. I'm going to say to the Muhammad fanboys that if you can't behave like an adult human being, and we see that, you will be blocked from the channel, of course. So, okay. I believe that the intolerance in Islam is a huge problem. There are lots of problems with Islam, of course, but intolerance is perhaps the worst. And you can see this when you look at countries that have where the state religion is Islam. You can see that they are typically unfree countries. People do not have the kind of freedom that we have in other countries there. Okay, don't go trolling, okay? And it's not like if you subscribe to my channel or channels, you have a right to come here and act up. It doesn't work that way, okay? So if you look at those countries, typically people there have less freedom. Now, we could say that, well, there are other countries that are not Islamic State religion countries that also have less freedom. But seems to be something that comes with Islam. If Islam is dominant, people get less freedom. Also, there's a big issue here concerning Christianity versus Islam. It's not the same, okay? And obviously it's not the same, but heathens and pagans, they tend to say that, well, Judaism, Islam, and Christianity, it's sort of, they're all Abrahamic, and it's sort of the same. Well, there are certainly similarities, but we have to look at the development in those religions. And if you look at Christianity today, in most of the world, it is much more benign than Islam when you look at Islam in most of the world today. Surely you must see that there is a difference. And I'll say this again. I am not criticizing Muslims here, okay? I am criticizing almost every aspect of Islam. I am, of course. Why wouldn't I? I disagree with most of the pillars, as they call them, in Islam, and I disagree with the other huge problem with Islam, which is the segregation aspect. It is a mindset, really. It is a mindset where you solve potential future problems by segregating people, classes of people, and the sexes, right? So men segregated from women, which is, in my mind, quite disgusting. It is, I feel that when you have someone telling you what you can do and what you can't do, that's wrong. Well, but obviously, we have, this is the libertarian discussion, you can't do what you like if that hurts other people. Okay, so you can't. My example is, you can't just let people get drunk and drive their car, because then they could hurt other people. So, but we're not going to get into that now. You all understand what I mean when I say this. So, okay, here's a super chat. Thanks a lot for that awesome donation, Mossy Chops. Why are the French Foreign Legion leaving France on boats? Charlie Hebdo attack. I don't know what that is about. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what you are referring to there. Okay. Let's see here. Going to get into the chat now. Okay. Thanks a lot, Wolf for Odin. Thanks a lot. Okay. Yeah. Bernhard says, now let's talk about feminism. Let's rather talk about women's rights or human rights. Human rights. Now, there was actually a time many years ago when, if you had asked me if I was a feminist, I would have said yes, because I'm old, so there was a time when I was much younger, that when feminism, the way I remember, was common sense, really, common sense. And then, as we all know, it has become something quite different, sadly. But if we talk about the kind of feminism that really is about equal rights, not equity, there's a difference there. But equal rights, you don't have that in Muslim countries. You don't have that in Muslim countries. And we cannot accept that. And if to those who disagree, there will be people trolling in the comment section and so on. If they have equal rights and so on. I'll just show this comment here. If you say that women have equal rights in Muslim countries, you don't understand what that is. Equal rights is about not having rules and regulations separating you from the parts of society that are open to men, for instance. And I'll give you one example. It's not very serious. It is about segregation, but it is also about how politicians and people in positions of power are so willing to accept this segregation here in our part of the world. Now, we shouldn't accept it in any part of the world, if you ask me. Now, in the Bible, there's a story about Abraham. God wants Abraham to sacrifice his son. Yeah, it was Abraham, was it? Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong. It's Abraham. I've been working since 4 a.m. this morning. Okay, so and as we know, then God say, well, you don't have to do that anyway. You don't have to do that after all. Okay, and that's celebrated in Islam as Eid or Eid. I think it's pronounced Eid. And most people, they don't know what they are celebrating. The way I see it, they are celebrating Abraham's willingness to kill his own son just because some fantasy creature said so. I don't think that should be celebrated. But that's not the pointer. The pointer is that in Norway, it has become this, sadly, huge celebration for Muslims, and it's on TV, and it's like this. It's for the children. It's like Christmas Eve for Muslims and all that. It's not Christmas. First of all, it's not Christmas. Secondly, it's certainly not Yule, or the pagan Yule, by the way, which is a celebration of light, hope, and positivity. But during those celebrations, where Norwegian politicians and so on, they come there and they are guests, there is a segregation. Women are sat in one part and men in another part there. In any other part of Norwegian society, that would not have been accepted. So why do they accept it there? I think we all know the answer. Bork. Thanks for the donation. And you are saying that atheists are similar to conservatives who just want to be left alone. I'm a conservative atheist. Good point. Good point there. There absolutely are conservative atheists. And Yeah, we want to be left alone. So, yeah, let's see here. Of course, I read an article some years ago, actually, uh, where it said that maybe the biggest problem with Islam is the idea that this figure, Muhammad, is the perfect human being. Now, he was not, if he ever existed. Now, if we just assume that he existed, um, he was not a good man. You know, he had slaves, he had several wives, mistresses, and his favorite wife, Aisha, um, was he had intercourse with her when she was 9 years old. And I don't care if people say that, well, it was more common back then. I don't care. First of all, there is nothing that suggests that it was common to have intercourse with a 9-year-old back then. Um, and secondly, and if you say that, you're assuming it. You can't prove that. And secondly, um, if you can't call out that thing, which is disgusting, if you can't make yourself saying that if that was true, if that happened, it's disgusting, we are nothing to talk about. Okay? Because anyone who supports, yeah, I'm going to get demonetized anyway. Pedophilia. If you support that, we have nothing to talk about because it's disgusting and it's evil. And anyone who does that is an evil person. Um, and it's very, very simple. So let's just hope that this Muhammad figure never existed. That it was just it's fantasy. It's a fantasy figure, because if he existed, and then you know that actually took place, then I mean it's horrible. It makes me upset. And just think of all those poor people who have been victims to this, or victims of pedophilia. Just to them, it must be even worse. Well, it's a worse kind of crime, of course. We shouldn't have to say this. I mean, um, Vesna, no, wasn't. No, I think she was 6 when she was given to old Muhammad, and he waited 3 years until she was 9, I believe, according to the story. So, okay, so let's talk a little bit about a monotheistic religion coming in and subjugating pagan people. Okay, it boggles my mind that a lot of people in North America, especially, they actually don't know how Northern Europe became Christian. I'll say it again. A lot of people in North America apparently don't know that Christianity was forced upon people in Northern Europe and other places as well. So when I say that, well, Norway, according to the history books, has been a Christian for about 1,000 years, probably quite a lot less than that. But anyway, and it became Christian because you would have your hands cut off if you didn't become a Christian. You would be burnt. You would have your kids thrown into the creek and drowned. Okay. So people, they said, when they had the choice, will you be tortured or will you become a Christian? They said, okay, I think I will become a Christian then. Make no mistake about it. That's how Christianity was forced upon people in my part of the world. So as a heathen, I know a little bit. Now, I'm not that old, so I was not alive back then, but what I'm trying to say is that it's not like Christianity is all good and Islam is all bad. My point here is that having a monotheistic foreign religion forced upon you, it has happened before. Yeah, it has happened before. Historically speaking, not that long ago, actually, and it was Christianity. So Islam in certain parts of the world now, to me, looks a lot like Christianity back then, if you get my point here. Joni says, Vikings, I'm not highlighting that comment, but you're calling Vikings sick freaks. Well, you're not going to get many friends here on this channel if you call Vikings sick freaks. Just telling you, Joni. It's sort of, it's your right to say that. You are a fool to say that, but it is your right. But I don't know. Who are the sick freaks? Those who would chop your hands off because you wouldn't become Christian, or the Norse pagans. I don't know. Well, actually, I do know. I do know. So, okay. Oh, that was papal Rome. That is not Christianity. Okay. You see, here's the thing, who are you to define what Christianity is? We need to look at this in a historical context. So, and I get this a lot. People cherry pick parts of the Bible, the Old Testament and the New Testament, and they say that, well, this is Christianity. What they did back then, that was not Christianity. You can't really do that. Okay. What you can say is that Christianity has evolved. But to say that the people who forced Christianity upon pagans and heathens in this part of the world were not Christians it's just doesn't make any sense. You can say, well, they misunderstood the true meaning of Christianity. Okay, that can be discussed, but that can be discussed about Islam as well. So I'm doing my best now to get enemies in both the Christian camp and the Islamic or Muslim camp here. You see, so we'll see who's still following this channel after this live stream. Okay. I don't think we have any moderators here. Matthias Treeman says, fool, not sick freaks at all. Well spoken, my friend. So, Okay. Now, Bork again. Thanks a lot for the donation there. Religion, you say, have some good aspects, but yes, also it is designed to control the masses. Early New World Order. You could actually say that about heathen or pagan beliefs as well. Now, it is much more difficult to use that kind of um, belief system to control the masses. In its nature, it's not as not very great, not a very great tool to do that. A monotheistic religion is much better, because then the king can say that, well, I am king because God says so, and God says that I have all right to do whatever I like. It's a single line of control, you know. Um, Good question from Sopolos. My favorite Amon Amarth song. It's they have so many great songs, but I think the one I'm I'm always coming back to, that one is actually 1,000 years of oppression. um, okay, so yes, I know you could say that human sacrifice was very common in Christianity, and it's just that they use a different definition, cleansing by fire, and burning the witches, and so on and so on. Matthias says something important here. It is just my opinion, but I don't believe early Germanic belief was used to control people. I tend to agree, absolutely. I was actually thinking more about the well, actually, I was thinking more about the Spartans. It's like that um, when you do these live streams, and you have to think fast. And that was the one example I kind of I felt I had to mention it. Takia, yes, that is a problem. It reminds me of China, by the way. That mentality, saving face more important than the truth. Um, okay, yeah, okay. So apostates, I hope I pronounce it correctly. That's when you say that, well, I am no longer a Muslim. In several countries, still there are a death sentence for that. You can't leave Islam. Um, so much about free will, so much about freedom of the individual. Um, I actually don't know which countries where it is, in which countries it is illegal. I don't know. I should have checked that one before I did the live stream here. Um, yeah, I have read. I've read. That was not a fun read. I've read a book about Sharia, which is the legal system in Islam. Um, Very different from what we consider as justice in our part of the world. The principle that, is it 3 or 4 women equals, when it comes to witnesses, equals one man. Um, I mean, so many sick things in Sharia. It's truly disgusting. Um, good question here. Joni is asking, what is your message to the average Muslim? What are they supporting by turning a blind eye to the ugly part of their society? Well, my message to the average Muslim is stop being Muslim. Actually, yeah, I have to be that blunt about it, because now, of course, you can define being Muslim as whatever you like. I don't care. And as I said in this live stream, I know Muslims, they define themselves as Muslims more like a cultural thing, but they will have a glass of wine to dinner, and they don't bend down and pray to some fantasy creature and all that. And that's fine, but a Muslim in the more traditional sense of the word, my suggestion is stop being a Muslim. Rather connect with nature, connect with yourself in the true way, or in true meaning of that. Um, I think you will have a much better life if you do. I think you will find a freedom and a road to self development that you wouldn't have found otherwise. Um, so, okay. Yeah. Music again. Yeah, the guitar work in Amon Amarth is excellent. Absolutely. If Norway has a lot of Muslims like how Sweden does, I don't think we have as many in proportion to the population. I think the population in Sweden is about twice the population in Norway, but still, I think the portion of Muslims here is lower than in Sweden. That's what I think. I haven't checked that one, but yeah. Mm. Okay. So lots of comments now. Jason, yes, as I said, and yes, very good point. When they speak on converting the world to Islam, and the people will convert or die, it sounds very much like early Christianity. Absolutely. Um, Kycklingklubba, from your nickname, I take it that you are from Sweden. You're saying that it's over 2 million Muslims in Sweden. That's a lot more than I thought. But again, are those people from a Muslim country, or are they people who call themselves Muslim? Um, it's a big difference, that. Yeah, JB, thanks a lot there. It was 6 years and then consummated by the age of 9. Because that's what it means, right? Yeah. So, okay. So here's one thing I would like to say, because I kind of made a mental note of this before I went live. Um, People tend to forget this, and I'll say it as a reminder. No one is born into a religion. So now I remember the word that I couldn't remember previously here. Insult. um, that's what they're saying. Oh, Salman Rushdie was insulting the Prophet. He was, and they are saying he insulted Islam. Now, okay, let's look at the language here. You can't insult a religion or a belief system or an ideology. You can't. It's not a living thing. You can't insult this pen. Okay. So and there is also this thing you can't. The other thing they're saying, he's insulting. What's the word? Yeah, never mind. But saying that is just foolish. Okay. And no religion, no ideology should be above criticism. I want all religions, all ideologies and belief systems, everything to be subject to criticism, even my own. Okay. And certainly it is being criticized. And that's fine. It is how it should be. Okay. I think that we need to take the language back. We need to refuse to accept them using language in such a way. First of all, I will insult whoever I want to insult. If someone says something that I disagree with, I will say so. If that person takes it as an insult, that's fine. I don't care. But as we all know, it hasn't always been like that with Christianity, certainly, and now with Islam, it's certainly not accepted. Okay. So, yeah, here's another thing. Now, okay, I'm trying to keep an eye on the chat here. Yes, this other thing I wanted to say. Okay, a lot of people in my business, the publishing business, and in other parts of society, they are now saying they are going to their Twitter and they're going to writing in the newspaper and so on, saying that we need to stand up for freedom of speech. Yes, we need to. That's important. But those same people are part of what we call cancel culture. So now they are popping their heads up and they are sensing that, oh, it's time to talk about free speech. It's time to talk about free speech because we can all agree on the fact that Salman Rushdie is a brilliant author. He's a nice guy, just a very nice guy, and what happened was horrible. So now we talk about free speech. Those same people, they were not talking about free speech when people were cancelled for trying to define a woman. They were cancelled for having a critical view on the trans movement. Just an example off the top of my head, and isn't it funny how these people, they always find the right time, the right timing. They have the right timing. When are we going to talk about free speech? Oh, now is the time. Okay. So Yeah, it's funny that, you know. And by the way, um, kycklingklubba, have a nice day. By the way, it will be interesting to see what happens to this live stream. Will it be demonetized? Will it get my channel in trouble? Will it be banned? Um, will I get a phone call from someone again saying that, well, you can't say that, you can't say that? Or will something else bad happen to me for saying this? Is this hate speech that I'm doing here? You think it's hate speech? I don't think it's hate speech. Now here's a Mehdi says, as a Muslim, it doesn't prevent me from being open to some form of spirituality and connection to nature. That is wonderful. Islam says that the trees have souls and are creatures almost just as humans. Well, that's beautiful, actually. That's wonderful. So, it would be interesting if we have some other Muslims here who have the same view of nature and so on. I'll just quickly have a look here. Sorry. Okay, I'll just. I think because of the time zones and so on, I think that I don't know, but I don't think there are Muslims here, that many at least in the chat right now. Okay, so I think what we need to is to be able to have an open conversation about these things, and I must be able to say the things I've said in this live stream without being without certain people getting a hissy fit, as we say. And Mehdi here is clearly showing that that he's an adult and not one of those guys. So thank you for that. That's what we need more of. Okay. Yes, I'll highlight this one. The CCP, Chinese Communist Party, probably still more brutal than Islam. I don't know about that, but they are certainly cruel, and I guess it's a different topic, but I read somewhere that religion without a god is the worst kind of religion. Maybe that is the case. And I think it was Dawkins who said that the problem with communism is not that it lacks religion, but that it looks too much like religion. Now, if you look at communist nations or communist countries, they typically have a leader figure that is almost like a god. You have the portraits hanging everywhere and like that, And Media says religion without a god is basically fascism, most dangerous movement in the history of mankind. Now I remember the book Populærmusikk fra Vittula. That's the Norwegian title. It's a Finnish novel. And one of the characters in the novel, his father is a pastor. Pastor, isn't that what you say? But he's always drunk, this father, and he's violent. And it's somewhere there's a passage in that book describing how the father lost his belief in God, but he was still a pastor. And religion without God is the worst kind of religion, or the most brutal kind. I don't know. It is good. It's something we should think about, Marigo says, look at the death penalty for leaving Islam. Yes. It is a big problem. People are being killed for that. So I'll scroll down now. I know, Jason, communism holds the record for deaths, both during wartime and peacetime. It's truly insane. I know it is. And don't get me wrong here, but it's like people often talk about the and I've heard I can't say the word here on YouTube, but so I say National Socialists. You know which movement ideological movement I'm talking about. The guy with a little ugly mustache, those guys there. Yeah, those. And they are often used as, they killed so many millions of people, and they did. But again, don't take this the wrong way. But if we look at the death toll, communism is much, much worse. I don't like communism. And I certainly don't like National Socialism. Yeah. Here. A little bit of a change of topic, I guess, but the globalists want to use the same model the CCP has, but they want to be in control, obviously, using the UN. Yeah, we need to call out these people for trying to move us towards a kind of society with less freedom. But I'll get back to that on my main channel. Maria, sorry, I'm lost your comment up there. Okay. Sorry, I'll get. Oops. I'll have to get rid of one here. Yeah, you need to behave like decent people here, okay? So, okay. Again, returning to the topic for this live stream, the heathen perspective on Islam is that we do not believe in well, obviously we do not believe in the God, in the Islamic God, and we do not believe in the principles of Islam either. And we certainly will not bow the knee to any of the claims and demands that come from Islam, and we will not respect it either. I'm saying we, some heathens or pagans out there might disagree. I doubt it, but I should say I will not. I will not. Why would I? So why would I respect a religion, ideology, whatever you call it, that actually says that people like me don't deserve to live? That people like me will have nothing, that we are a subspecies almost. Why would I respect that? Obviously, I don't. Would you? I mean, and it's actually worse compared with Christian people, because Christians, at least, even in Islam, you view Christians and Jews as and again, I can't remember the word here, but they believe in the same God, but not in the same prophet. Okay, but we are, as heathens and pagans, we are considered below that, you know. So, so that's why I don't respect Islam. And I think if you were me, you wouldn't either. And if you're a pagan, if you're a heathen, I guess you don't respect Islam. Pamela says, I'm a proud heathen. That's great. That's wonderful. Bizarre Tales podcast. Thanks a lot for the donation. Yeah, the last Australian there. You see, I'm Norwegian. I use the word Viking the wrong way, I guess, because it's such a it's the word we use in Norwegian when we talk about our ancestors here, and I should say Norse instead of Viking, but it's a slip of the tongue, maybe. Okay. Alan says, why would one respect a religion that wants your skin? Good point. I might have to reflect on my beliefs. Well, reflecting on your beliefs is always good. I do it all the time. I do it all the time. And I think that's a healthy part of being a heathen or pagan. We have many questions, and we think it's okay to have questions. We think it's okay not to have all the answers. It is more important to keep wondering about life and death and nature and everything. That's more important than just deciding on some truth, that truth in quote unquote. So, yeah. Let me scroll up here. So, Delphine says, keep learning. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I think the saddest thing I know is when people decide that, well, I've reached a conclusion here. I will stop reading. I will stop studying. I will stop I don't know, traveling. I will stop exploring, and they just settle with something that they believe is true. That's, I don't know what to call it. It's just sad, you know. So, Misa says, my issue with Islam is that they have a fundamentally flipped set of values than we do up here. And when then we are supposed to adapt to them. No, no, we shouldn't. Yes, good point. And you know who has told me exactly the same? Muslims, actually. Well, I guess those would be the ones who call themselves Muslims in a cultural sense. Um, and it's I guess, as I said previously, I'll just repeat that. If you want to call yourself a Muslim and define that for yourself, that's fine. I'm not the one who shall decide what a Muslim is. And that's also why I'm not saying that I'm criticizing Muslims here. Not at all. It needs to be repeated a lot, I have discovered. So, Jason, yes, Scandinavians traveled probably quite far down the east coast of North America. We will probably in the future know more about it because of new technology in archaeology. They, especially this device, like an echo sounder, and they can kind of see the shapes of structures under the ground. So, so yes, Billy Connolly says never trust people who only have one book. Yes, I know, and um, and that's true. And Espen says, I know a couple of Muslims and they are reasonable. Yes, me too, absolutely. Uh, or referring to, I also know Muslims who are completely reasonable. If I am reasonable, I don't know. You'll be the judge of that, I guess. And you also write that I mostly have a problem with those who read holy books without a critical eye. Absolutely. So, yeah. Okay. So, Eric says, I don't like religion whose followers want you to follow their religion. That's discrimination. And it's practiced here in Holland a lot. Non-Muslims are discriminated. Yes, I'm infidel. Yes, but I've also been called it called that to my face, um, and, and that's fine, because I am by their definition. Um, so, okay. Oh, there it is. Okay, so he says what I have heard most people who leave the Abrahamic religion does so after reading the books. It's evident. Yeah, well, now I will say that I know the Bible better than the Quran, but they are written differently. The Quran is more like a number of laws, actually, compared to the Bible, which is like a collection of stories. And it's it if we were to follow what it says in those books, I don't know which would be worse, actually. Maybe Islam, maybe, but Christianity, following the Bible like by the letter, would be also extremely, extremely cruel. But it's like we shouldn't do any of those. It would be horrible. But again, saying that, and I hear this a lot, that the people in like Iran, the people in Iran, they don't know what Islam is. It's like, yeah, I think they do. Um, it's very easy to sit here as a liberal. I don't know what to call them, but sitting here in this part of the world, spoiled, liberal, spoiled, and saying that, well, we know what Islam is, and the Muslims in Iran and those places, they don't know what it is. Well, let's go by the majority, okay? Let's go by the majority. And if you look at the majority of the Muslim population in the world, they have quite a few opinions, and opinions that I disagree with. Let's just put it that way. And I think we all know this. So okay. I will okay. Sock Ninja. This is something, I first of all, I will say, I will read your comment, and I will first of all say that I am very sad to hear this. I know it's something that happens to a lot of people. I'll read the comment. You're writing that I have repeatedly been spat on at bus stops. Can't even count the amount of times I have been called a potato in various languages. I generally don't feel safe to go out after dark by myself. Yeah. This is a problem. And it has to do with another aspect of Islam. And this is an aspect of Islam that is another one that is very problematic. It's this attitude where Muslims are seen as better than non-Muslims. Okay. And I guess this is one of those things that, you can't say that. No, you should not talk about that. Well, I'll say it because it is a very widespread, commonly held belief. No, I'm not saying that all Muslims are like that. I'm not saying that all Muslims have that belief or that opinion, but it is ingrained in Islam itself. And if you look at the Quran, it's everywhere. It is everywhere. A potato, if you wonder, is what's the word, derogatory term used for Europeans or white people. It's some people think it's fun. It's just fun. No, it's not. It is extremely negative. It implies that you are foolish and can be fooled and tricked. That's what it means. And there are people out there, they don't know this, but no, it's just we eat a lot of potatoes here. It means that we are stupid, can be tricked, we are boring, stupid, everything bad. So it's not, if someone calls you that, it's not good. It's that is an actual insult. It's like saying words I won't say, because I would say that I would feel that those words are racist, so I won't say them. And but it is a racist slang. It's a racist term, no question about it. So I grow potatoes too. Not that many this year. We got so many potatoes last year. This year it's beets. Beets is a big thing this year. Yeah. Yeah, it's late to plant potatoes now. It's true. Yeah. We keep the potatoes in the ground, actually. That worked well. I discovered that by accident. But yeah. I can pick them up in springtime and they are just as fine. And they will start growing again. So I discovered that by accident, as I said. And here's the thing. I don't care if people are Muslims, Christians, Jewish, Hindu, or whatever. I don't care. I refuse to look down upon someone because that someone is Muslim. Because I understand that to many, it is a cultural thing. And I know as a fact that not all Muslims not all Muslims share the same views, obviously, but it's not obvious to everyone. But this is important to me, and I wish we could all be like that. But I know it goes against this thing where people of the Abrahamic faiths, they either look down upon those who subscribe to other religions, or they try to convert those people. I don't try to convert people to Norse heathenry. It's not up to me to decide it. You are very, very welcome, of course, but it's not like I try to convert people. Why would I? If you're an adult, you can do your own thinking, do your own reading, your own research. That's what I hear all the time. Do your own research. Well, yeah, go and do your own research then. And I wish we could all be a little bit more like that. We could respect each other. By respect, I don't mean refraining from calling out bad things in other religions. Actually, if you can't do that, if you can't make yourself to criticize other religions, you are not respecting people of that religion. When I criticize, let's say I meet a Christian person, and if I say something, if we start talking about these topics, and if you hear me saying something that question his or her Christian belief, you must understand that's a sign of respect. Because if I thought you were a complete idiot, if I thought you were a complete immature moron, I wouldn't have said so, because it would have been a waste of time. For instance, if I see people who are standing in the street shouting about Allah or something, I've never seen that actually, but if I one day, if I see someone like that, you think I will go over to them and start criticizing, start talking with them about the flaws of Islam? No, I won't. It's not because I'm afraid. No, certainly not. It is because it would be a waste of time, because they would be brainwashed, so this is, I feel, important. Refraining from criticizing is not a sign of respect, it's a sign of disrespect, the way I see it. So okay. I'll scroll up a little bit. The trees don't speak to all people, says Rolf Walden. Yeah, I hate to admit it, but I think you're right. I think you're right. Not all people have the ability for that connection. And it's sad to see. Some people, they just can't connect, if you know what I mean. And it's always sad to see. So and Wolf Odin again, you're saying you either hear nature's call or you don't. Yeah, I guess that's just the way it is. And I will say this about Christianity or Christians, that I think it's not the best framework for connecting with nature. I will say that. But I will also say that I have witnessed and heard from several Christian people who have that connection with nature, that deep understanding and connection with nature. So it's not like Christianity is a hindrance. Now, I don't know personally. I don't know any Muslim people, so I can't tell you if it's like a big hindrance for them when it comes to connecting with nature. I would guess it is, but maybe I'm wrong on that one. Let's hope I'm wrong on that one. So yeah, the wind. I'm a big fan of that myself. The wind in the trees. It's a wonderful sound, and it's maybe the sound that connects me most with nature. Or on land, out at sea, it's different. So Jason says it's hard to describe what happens to you when you first hear the connection. It's incredible and it frightens some people. Yes, and maybe no, I will say this. I think a heathen belief system is much better suited to truly understand nature, our place in nature, and to connect with nature. I said, did I say the best tool or the best framework? Well, that's what I meant. And I truly believe that. There is nothing that comes in the way for that connection, if you will. So yeah. Also, EOS religion is says religion is terrible for connecting with nature. It's something I've noticed recently. Yeah, someone told me in a live stream a long time ago that being a Norse heathen, it's not a religion. And I was a bit blunt. I said, well, yes, it is. But maybe it's not. Maybe it is something much that is on a much deeper level. You hear me saying belief system. I usually call it a belief system. I don't like the word religion so much. Uh, huh. um, I I can't read that. I'm sorry. But do you know people that go and stand close or lean on trees? I know one woman here. Yes, I know one woman here who does that as well. uh, the one in the house here, she does that sometimes. um, so, yeah, here's the Garden of Eden thing. Is Cherokee Twilight? Is it's interesting now. I talked about this in a recent live stream, but I'll say it again because mm, it's um, a good example of a huge difference in the Norse heathen belief system and Christianity. Um, in the Garden of Eden, the apple was there, and the snake said, "Well, take a bite of the apple," and Eve says, "Well, we'll eat the apple," and they ate the apple, and they were cast out of Eden because the apple was the wisdom, it was the knowledge, and then they were no longer innocent, and because they had gained knowledge, wisdom, and then they were cast out of Eden. Now, in Norse mythology, I don't like that word. It implies that it's just fairy tales. But Odin sacrificed himself, hanging on Yggdrasil, the life tree, the world tree. Sorry, and by doing that, he saw the runes. The runes are symbols of wisdom, and he gave the runes to us, the humans. It is the opposite of the Eden myth, right? With the apple and snake and all that. Because as a Norse heathen, you're encouraged to gain wisdom, to learn, to expand your mind by reading, studying, and so on. So, big difference there. Mm. Matthias says, yes, it is not a mythology to me either. Yeah. It's like I the stories in the Bible, I call that mythology. To me, it's among my mythology books. So I guess that provokes some people. Um, um, John Meehan says, I'm fascinated by this Norse heathen worldview. Where to learn more? Um, I always say take a walk in the woods, but start by doing that. But I guess you're doing that already. We were talking about mythology, and lack of better terms. I'm going to say that again. Well, read Norse mythology and then try to see if those stories can, what's their true meaning? What's the deeper meaning? Um, and that's a good place to start. Don't become too dogmatic about the whole thing. So, and there are loads of books on this. Um, okay. Okay, I'm scrolling up a little bit. Yeah. I'm going to have to end this live stream. Misa says off to plant some strawberries, if I read correctly. um, so, okay. This was an interesting live stream. As I said, it will be exciting to see if these people who talk so much about freedom of speech, I mean, Google did that as well. They even invented a prize and gave it for freedom of speech and gave it to themselves, which I found very funny. Yeah, it wasn't meant to be funny, but they did. So yeah. So let's see how it goes. You can. I'm talking to the false gods of Google. You can demonetize this live stream and you can take it off the platform. You can do whatever you like. I don't care. Because there was a guy on stage. He's been living with a fatwa on him for 30 years and he was stabbed. He's going to lose an eye. And if I tried to censor myself out of fear of being demonetized and have a video or live stream removed from a social media platform, if I was afraid of that, I wouldn't be able to call me a man. I mean, he's in hospital now, so let's all follow his example. We must be unafraid. Okay, I'm sitting here in my office. It's completely safe. The worst thing that can happen is that they take this live stream off. I mean, we have been conversing here. We have Muslim people here, Christian people here. We have heathen pagans, atheists, and we have a conversation. And I might be a bit rough in my reply sometimes, but we're all adults here. And I think we have had a wonderful conversation. That's what we need. And if we can have these conversations, maybe we can avoid these horrible incidents in the future, you know. So yes, I there's a community outside of YouTube. I have my website. It's on the banner on the screen here. Also my Patreon. So that's all for now, and thank you all for joining. I truly enjoyed this talk, and yeah, great. And We'll talk soon. Okay, bye.